launch Destiny. I'm bad.
Comfy is bad. And also, everybody, welcome to episode number 36 of 2.5 Weebs. This week we were covering Tokyo Ghoul, which starts out in this world where there's ghouls, which they're kind of they seem vampire-y more than like a zombie or something like that.
Yeah, so this was actually a conversation I was having. Was they have aspects of both of them. Vampire because they try to blend in with people normally. They hunt people and they have full consciousness. But zombies because they just eat the entire human being.
Yes.
So it's basically vampires, but instead of sucking blood, you suck all of the meat off of the bones of the humans.
And to make things even more complicated, we add in half ghouls, which is a whole nother thing.
So is he a half ghoul?
Added in as a plot point with him.
Okay.
Yes, there's half ghouls added in, and the show will also further along add in half humans, which is just weird.
Interesting. But so
what?
okay. Basically,
Really.
Show starts off. There's ghouls. There's humans. Ghouls eat humans, obviously.
Right, like you do.
Ghouls don't need to eat people every single day. If they have one human, they can survive off of it for a month. But there are people who are going around binge eating because they're just
they want
super
to
into that.
Yeah, there are what they call binge eater ghouls who murder a ton of people all at once and consume them rather than eating a person a month or two, which is what most ghouls do.
Which is what most schools try to do because, believe it or not, it doesn't bode well with humans that you eat them. And not all of them are super evil, constantly trying to murder people, but you definitely have that kind of, you definitely attract that kind of person when you eat people. So, it starts off with one chick and she's just going murder happy, obviously. Then she disappears. And then we just go with then we meet our lonely ass main character, who wants to take a girl on a date to a bookstore. Surprise! That girl is the ghoul from before, and she tries to munch on his body late at night. But
he wants
a tragic accident.
He wants to take her to a bookstore on a date because he's a fucking nerd. Jesus.
Bookstores are great for dates. You shut your goddamn mouth. You uncultured swine.
I'm sorry.
I was watching this with Bree and we were like, wait, he thinks a bookstore is a bad idea? That's a great idea. You just go and hang out and look at books. That's awesome. Rala's in my chat right now saying that would be her ideal date. There we go. I'm glad that we've decided upon this. So
bookstores are great as long as they're not like a tiny little shitty bookstore.
But I mean, even then it could be more intimate. So if it's like a shitty store that it doesn't have anything at all, then yeah. But
but they're going to like a nice bookstore, but they do signings,
like a coffee shop and stuff. That's great. That's a great place for a date. The date goes well, or so he thinks. Turns out it was all just her ploy to eat his bodily meat and shit. And when she attacks him, suddenly there's a tragic construction accident that crushes both of them.
Well, crushes her. He's not crushed. He's super injured because she's been stabbing him.
So the authorities, when they collect
I missed that part. I thought he got hit by it a little bit at least.
They pick them up, like the cops show up at the scene. They rush him to a hospital. They pronounce her dead. They don't know she's a ghoul. They basically, to save, what's his name?
God, I remember his name so hard.
I can never remember names.
I can't pronounce his name.
Either way, they shove her organs into him in order to save his life, not knowing she's a ghoul. So
which
basically
transforms him into our half ghoul.
Yeah, so he basically transforms into what makes him not a full ghoul? What is different?
Because
he wasn't born a ghoul. So when you transplant organs into another being like that, it doesn't make them into a ghoul. It makes them into what's called a half ghoul.
But how do they behave differently? Like they still have to eat flesh. They're still just as strong, right? Or no?
They're actually stronger than normal ghouls. In addition, some of them can eat normal food, and don't have to only eat human flesh. So our main character is not one of these.
Kaneki is his name, by the way.
Okay.
So
That
they
sounds
have
about
some of
right.
the benefits of being human and some of the benefits of a ghoul.
Yeah. Which is good. Very
Yes.
good. Well, for him, not for us, because that's
Yes,
super
yeah.
spooky and bad. But so he's half ghoul, and he wakes up and he's like, "Man, I'm hungry as shit, but I can't eat this food because I want to throw up when eating it." Then, like, he gets discharged from the hospital and everything. After he's been not seeing anybody, he's been super depressed, understandably.
Yes.
Like,
Well, the fact he, like, what happened to him traumatized, and the fact he now can't eat without everything tasting disgusting is also really playing with him. And then he starts to have some realizations because he sees a TV show.
Yes.
TV show is going over, like, here's how you can tell if your neighbor is a ghoul. And it's going over the differences. The big ones that they were pointing out is the tongue is different.
Yes, they
and
pointed out the fact their tongues don't work the same as human tongues.
Yeah, and so he's freaking out. He's
Oh,
like, "What the
that's why
fuck is wrong
everything
with my
tastes
tongue?"
gross.
Yeah, he's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "That's weird." And he had like a bunch of food from a convenience store.
Right. And he had the whole time he's had a very good friend of his who has been trying to like reach out and like
I forget
talk
his name,
to
but
him.
that dude is like, that is the
Hyde.
best dude.
His friend's name is Hyde.
Yeah, that dude has been so nice to him.
Yes.
And has been just trying to help him out in every conceivable manner. And that's the kind of friend you should look for right there. 10 out of 10.
Yes.
But so his friend is basically trying to help him out and stuff. And he has basically, man just goes through and tries to make all of this food, and he just throws up all of it. And then
Yep.
then the show goes on and is like, and there's one other thing with ghouls, which is that their skin, you can't break it with a knife. And so he pulls out a knife and he tries to stab himself in the stomach and did not work.
Breaks the knife.
Yeah, breaks the knife. Their skin becomes super resistant to damage.
Like they are very, very difficult to kill.
Yes. Yeah, they're difficult to harm, difficult to kill.
Which is what makes them such a danger to society and all of that.
Right.
An easy way to tell that it's, a ghoul is there is that their eyes will actually turn black with the pupil turning red. Our half ghoul boy, what happens with him is that only one of his eyes turns like that, and he can't actually stop his from turning that color. Unlike a normal ghoul, whenever he is hungry. So whenever he's hungry, his eye automatically turns
red
and black.
Yeah. It's like the black instead of the white and the red instead of his iris.
Yep.
So, which is a thing for sure. And so, yeah, basically, boy is half ghoul now, and he's just trying to figure out what to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's wandering around all hungry, and he runs into such a nice other ghoul who's going to help him out, right?
No.
Nope.
Well, okay, the first ghoul he ran into, the one that had already killed someone who was eating,
was actually a pretty nice dude.
Was actually offering him food.
He was like, "Hey, you look hungry. You're like."
I also I haven't eaten for a while either. Like,
I can't give you this, but I can give you a little bit to help you out. And he's like giving him an arm.
He's like, I can't give you a ton, but I can give you this.
Yeah, and so he's just trying to give what he can to him, and then some asshole shows up and is like, "Lamau, you're in my territory. I'm gonna kick your ass."
He kicks his head off.
Kicks the other ghoul's head right off immediately.
Just kicks him in the back of the head, knocking his head off, and then it lands in front of our whiny boy's feet, and he's like, because he's still just like not aware of the situation he's in. He has no idea. So anyway, some other character comes along and saves him from getting murdered by this other dickhead ghoul.
Best girl shows up.
And basically, then her like father figure kind of thing shows up and takes him under his wing to like basically bring.
Ghouls help other ghouls. That's how it works. We don't survive if we're splintered. We have to work together.
Yeah, so she's part of an organization where they assist other, like the ghouls look out for each other.
Right.
Which is
and
very
help
smart.
help them get along without having to murder constantly, because that's how people get caught, and then that brings a problem to the whole community.
Yes.
There apparently is a whole community of ghouls running around.
Because you have a bunch of them, so you gotta keep them together. So you have your entire community of ghouls running around and doing things. This is basically the gateway to be introduced to all of those characters, which is super dope. And did anything else happen this episode?
No, it ends with her force feeding him.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she straight up like shoves meat down his throat.
Yes.
And then that's also the opening scene of the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Which is super cool.
So then in the next episode, they basically take him to where they live, and his like, I guess you could almost say it's like foster dad now, and his like foster sister is like, yo, we run a coffee store, or a cafe, I guess, a coffee store. Jesus.
Yep.
They run a cafe where it's a lot of ghouls come in, a lot of humans come in as well. The humans don't really know, but the ghouls do.
Well, for ghouls, it's kind of obvious what other ghouls are ghouls because they're pretty outspoken about it to each other. But for
does
humans,
it talk
it's
about
very
how
hard
they
to
know?
tell. I mean, they generally just like approach each other and are like, "Yo, what the fuck, man?"
Like, do they have a
They
specific smell or something?
I was gonna say they might have like a special like smell around. Oh, they do. Yeah, they talk about it because there was that girl. There was the girl who was like, "I can smell you," and like, "You're not a ghoul, but you're not exactly human either." Remember that? Like the little girl.
Yeah, they do smell.
I don't think that was until
humans,
episode 3.
That was in episode 3, but I'm like saying like that's how they can tell.
No, she mentions in the very first episode.
Does she?
Or is it?
Oh,
no,
yeah,
it's the start. It's the start of episode 2. It's the start of episode 2. She mentions that he does not smell like a ghoul.
But he also doesn't smell like a human.
Right.
So that's an important like distinction to make, is that he's not a ghoul, but he's also not quite human. And like, I don't know. Where do we go from there?
Well, yeah. So that makes him a half ghoul, which is something they come across later. Really kind of define what he is. So episode 2, we see him kind of reconnecting with his buddy, which is good.
His super nice friend who was literally trying to help him out the entire time.
And then is
the true hero.
And his buddy introduces him to another person that he's met. He's like, "This guy's really cool." He's like, "All right," and it's
the ghoul from the other night who was trying to punch his head off.
Right.
Yes.
So he's like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
He's not saying anything because he ain't a snitch, but he is like, "Man, I don't think this is good for me right now."
Yeah, he's like.
He also worries about his friend because him and his friend was gonna go with this ghoul somewhere, and he's like, "Fuck! If I let my friend go alone, he's very likely gonna get eaten."
He realized that the ghoul was basically trying to lead his buddy along so that he could eat him.
Yes.
Which is.
So he kind of forcibly tags along, and then this ghoul dude kicks his friend down some deep dark alley, and then they have a fight. He discovers that he has the superpowers because ghouls have like tentacle things, because of course. So he uses his
Copper, you go
so
ahead. You'll probably know
that
this better than I do.
Is a predatory organ each ghoul has that manifests itself during combat and when they're trying to eat.
And they're all different.
They're all different, and some are stronger than others. And the more a ghoul consumes human flesh, the stronger they are. Which is a very important plot point for this series.
Because
what other show did something? Oh, the demons from Demon Hunter, right? Do that too?
100%.
Yeah.
And so Rize, the girl whose organs were transplanted into our main character, our good boy, she was kind of a binge eater and ate a lot of people.
Yep.
So by proxy, our good boy is now one of the most powerful ghouls. I almost said demons because of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, he starts off as very strong because
he starts off stronger than your average ghoul that has been alive for like years.
Yeah. Like once he starts beating the ass of the dude that wanted to eat his friend, and he's like, fuck, he recognizes the power. He's like, that's what's her face's power? Yes. And is he dead? He seems very dead. I
He
don't
seems
know.
very dead, as
I
far as
think
I
he-
know, but I don't.
Might be. See, now I've tried to watch this show previously,
Mhm.
and I got turned off by the main character after like episode 4.
Is he a whiny little bitch?
He is a very whiny bitch.
I listen. To be fair, I 100% understand why he's a whiny little bitch.
Oh, I
Like,
understand why he's a whiny bitch, but he's
like,
a very
like
whiny bitch.
there are a lot of shows that you can't really justify the main character being a whiny bitch. This one, I can 100% understand it. If you were
Oh,
being
yeah.
forced to suddenly eat people, you'd also probably be a whiny little bitch.
Oh yeah,
Copper,
there's
not so much because he's a psychopath, but like
yeah,
Dale,
that's
you'd
fine.
be spooked.
I'll be fine.
Think I would be
Yeah,
a whiny
little-
little bitch because
little
I'd have
fava
to eat
beans,
people?
I don't
Chianti.
think you'd necessarily be a whiny bitch, but I think you'd be really spooked about it and be like really confused and scared. You know? I think that's what I would be at least. Or are you like actually into eating people? Do you do that regularly?
I mean,
Do we need to have a talk?
in
Am I
the
in
right
danger when I go to GCX this
situations,
year?
possibly.
Not more than last year. I mean, I didn't find a time to cook you then, so we'll see.
I mean, there were too many cameras around, and you can't be seen by cameras. Fun fact: Copper actually doesn't show up in cameras because he's a ghoul.
Hmm.
Interesting
Great.
fact that isn't really told in the show. So I mean, you know. Now, anything else happened in episode 2?
He was very worried about his friend figuring out that he was a ghoul. Did they cover
they
it
were all
in,
taken back to the coffee shop.
Did they talk?
Yes,
did
they
his
went
friend
back to the
wake up
coffee
yet?
shop.
His buddy.
Is
His buddy didn't
in
wake
the
up
hospital,
until like
I believe?
the end.
No, they didn't go to the hospital.
buddy
They
was
took
there
him
with
in
them.
and they took care of him. But the thing was, he kind of wasn't exactly clear on what had happened. So they had already filled him in on like a fake bullshit story about how there was some sort of like a mugging. Was it a mugging? I don't know. They fed him some bullshit, so he's not aware that they're.
Yeah,
ghouls. Yeah.
which is smart. You probably shouldn't find out like that your best friend's a ghoul.
No,
So-
it's probably generally a bad idea. Bad time.
So yeah, but that's pretty much where it ends, and they do some like pan shots of the different people living in the coffee shop and stuff, and like there's not much else that happens really, not that I can think of at least. And then I guess we move on to episode 3. It's all about masks, which is good because it's Halloween and we're spooky.
Spooky! I love Halloween. I love this time of year. It's so good.
Yeah, so basically the third episode starts off and it's like, hey, what are we gonna do now? And Coffee Dad is like, hey, go get him a mask, angsty bitch.
Oh yeah, so that they can
And-
conceal their identities from the police.
Yes.
She is just constantly not happy with him.
Well, a good note is they're trying to conceal their identities from. It's not the police. It's the CCG, the counter something ghouls.
communist
bas-
ghouls.
It's a organization, a government organization that has powers similar to the police, but all they do is hunt ghouls.
Yep.
And whenever they find them, they just straight out murder them. Like they don't. There's no trial. It's just you've been discovered as a ghoul, you get executed.
Yeah, well,
And that's
I
what
mean,
these
to be
people do.
fair, like in a real life situation, the ghouls
Oh, yeah,
are the
these-
bad
yeah.
guys, and you kill them. Like,
Oh, 100%. These are
like these
like-
guys are 100% justified. Not even a joke. I mean, they're very creepy and very asshole-ish, and yeah, maybe there's some ghouls that aren't bad, but in a real life situation, you would want these people doing exactly what they're doing.
yes, you would.
So,
No
uh,
if and or but.
yes. That being said, they are very creepy and very weird, and I don't like them. Mostly the old dude. Old dude's real weird.
Yeah, the guys who work for that government body are
Special.
interesting. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Unique.
Not the greatest people in the world.
Not the worst people, but they are something unique altogether.
So they try to avoid these people and hide their identities from them. So every single ghoul wears a mask, and the masks are crafted for them by specialists. And the guy that he gets taken to in particular is
A mask crafter.
a mask crafter who um, basically tries to learn a ton about the individual people
To make a
so
mask
that
that works for them.
so the mask is specially crafted for them.
I
So
liked him. He was an interesting character.
he's a very interesting character.
I bet you he makes a lot of shit for people too that are like, ooh,
Oh
it's
yeah,
so edgy.
no, he definitely seems like it. He seems like he's just interested in people as a whole, which is
Yeah.
always a character trait I like because like the people in any show that are super passive and just want to learn things are always like they always have very interesting stories and they're always very unique. Like
Fucking
look at
nerds.
Destiny and Toland. Toland
Nerds.
does not give a shit.
I
Toland
know.
exists just to learn, and he has some interesting shit going on. So I say good on him, regardless of how much of a dick he is. Like he's an interesting character. So, but yeah, and throughout this entire episode, it's basically the what are they called? The
CCG, yeah.
counter communist ghouls or whatever. Basically, they're just the backside of this episode is all of them just running around and finding ghouls and killing them and hunting down ghouls and like leaving one slightly alive so they can track him down and find another ghoul.
Yep.
So it's a lot of that going on. It doesn't really interact with the main plot at all. I thought that it would, but
It doesn't intersect yet.
Yeah, it's more
With
of
the
just like
cops?
to show you like this is what's going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't noticed anything yet.
they haven't exactly. This is just showing you like here's where they are, here's what they're doing, and here's like how it could like interact. They haven't quite gotten there yet.
No, not
So,
yet.
I'm very interested to see when they do though, because it's. I actually was really interested in this show.
It is a very interesting show.
I've heard a lot about it. A lot of people have recommended it to me. It's never been something that I sat down and watched, and I was actually really excited for this week because I've been hearing a lot about it, and it was pretty good. It was very pretty.
I might give it another chance to watch it a little bit more at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But Copper being like, he's a whiny little bitch in episode 4. I'm like, episode 4 is next.
He's a whiny bitch through
He's
the
one
first.
bit right now.
He doesn't get worse. I just got annoyed with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm being told like in chat, like it's a slow startup.
Yes.
By Seth's who I'm pretty sure is like watched a lot of this.
It
I think he was one of the
changes.
people telling me to
It
watch
does
it.
change. It is a slower start. It's just he annoyed the shit out of me. So I was like, I got better things to watch at the time.
Yeah, I don't. What am I?
I'm not watching a lot of stuff right now.
I don't think I have anything on my.
Hmm.
Granted, a lot of people. I don't spend too much time watching shit. So.
I've been cutting back on time, so you know.
Yeah, I just don't. It's not a hype. I don't know. I don't have an anime that I'm watching. Like I've been kind of like, do I watch season 3 of My Hero? No, I don't know. I don't really
My Hero
want
just
to.
got good.
Did
Oh,
it
man.
though? Did it?
At the end of season 3 and the beginning of season 4, following the aftermath of it, yeah, it's real good right now.
Okay.
For anybody who's not caught up on My Hero, I highly recommend you get there because as of right now, there's a massive vacuum on the hero side and a massive vacuum on the villain side, and both of them are trying to be filled. And it is not looking good for anybody.
Are people just
I'm real
dying?
excited. I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't watched it.
Okay.
That's pretty much the best way I can say it without spoiling anybody. But
Okay.
There's a lot of things going on both the hero and the villain side, and it's leading to some really interesting situations.
Okay.
And
I
I'm really
might-
excited for what the future holds. And they also just introduced a new high tier villain,
Uh
who
huh.
is
Yes.
super cool, and I'm really happy with. So
Yeah.
it's,
Okay.
it's
I
pretty good
also-
right now, in my opinion.
All right.
In my opinion, I'm also watching Food Wars because you know me, all about
I-
those.
I have not started Food Wars yet.
I have
Food Wars-
never seen Food Wars.
I actually, despite how goddamn ridiculous it is, I really, really like the show and the plot that goes with it. I like how they make. I love like cooking and stuff as well, and the way that they like break down a lot of the cooking is really interesting.
Yes,
They do circle jerk umami a lot,
they
but
do, but it's also something that is actually highly pushed
in Japanese cuisine
in
and high end
yes.
cuisine as a whole.
I don't
Yeah,
know what that
so
is.
umami is the fifth flavor group. It's
Yeah.
basically like a combination of flavors that there's no specific flavor attributed to it, but it's good. Like that's
Huh.
the weirdest thing ever because if you Google like what is umami, there is no straight answer because there isn't a straight answer to what is
No,
umami.
Gotcha.
there's various ways to make like
It's a really
foodstuffs that
weird
get
term.
added to other food that are umami.
Mhm.
Like for example, you can fry dried sardines, add in fish flakes, add in something like miso, let that simmer, drain that off so you have the liquid only, and use the liquid. And the thing is, even though that sounds like it'd be super fishy, it's not, which is really strange. Um, so it's a thing. Like it's
Like so the flavors that you usually get are sweet, sour, salty, and bitter.
yeah.
But umami is the fifth flavor type that is quote corresponding to the flavor of glutamates.
I don't know what
Which
that means.
exactly.
Mm.
You don't know what it means, and it's one of those things that unless you taste it, you don't know what it is.
Okay.
Which is why, like, that's my issue with it is they circle jerk umami a lot, but they do a lot of like really good, like they add this to make this better and this to make this better and all of that. Um, so it's really interesting the way they go about it. I really, really like it. Uh, the the thing that most people get stuck on is the end of season 2 because it's kind of rough. Because there's a massive competition and there's like 4 episodes of like cool stuff going on and then 2 episodes of constant food tasting and I hate it and I absolutely fast forwarded through all of it and it was like talking to Brie. It was like, hey, have you watched Food Wars? Yeah, I watched till the second season and then I couldn't deal with the last couple episodes because it was all the food tasting. I was like, just fucking fast forward through it. It's not worth it.
Yep.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I really enjoy Food Wars. I like where they are right now because, like, as ridiculous as the plot is, it just got really, really, really like high tier in the plot. So I'm excited for it. It's something that I'm watching week to week. I'm actually not caught up on that or My Hero yet this week, so please don't spoil it for me.
I haven't watched
yeah.
My Hero yet this week either.
Is My Hero simulcast? Because I know
Yeah.
there is there is
I
season
think it
3
is.
that was recently just put and by recently it's been a few months. It just got the dub on Hulu, which is where I've been watching it.
Season 3 is. I don't think we have season 4 yet.
Okay, so no
I
forward
don't think
dub.
it's being simulcast. I thought it was. I'm being told not quite, but
Okay,
season 4 is what's going on right now.
gotcha.
So, and that's the one that I'm really enjoying.
Uh-huh.
We literally only have like one actual episode of content right now because the first one was kind of a recap, but like it's still good, and I'm still really happy with it. But enough about anime that isn't what we're supposed to be watching. Hey, did you guys watch Vinland Saga this week?
Yes.
Yes. You know what? I had to ask myself 3 times yesterday. It's like, did I watch this week? And then I remembered what happened. So, yes, I did.
Also, I'm getting season 4 simulcast is confirmed.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
So
on Funimation.
on Funimation. Funimation's the people who do the dub for it.
Is that going to be on Hulu right away though? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Probably not right away, but it'll be on Funimation. So Vinland Saga this week, man, we got a lot of plot.
Yes.
We got a lot of plot progression, which I really liked. Damn it, I have to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So by plot progression, he means that we have the Askeladd's group was discovered thanks to our important girl. Who apparently
Oh
did live.
yeah. Who we talked a bunch about last week, who we weren't sure if she survived. Turns out she did survive, and she went and she talked to Floki. Is that who?
She talked. She got found by the village.
I
Not
know that there was a
village,
scene that had her talking to somebody. Was it Floki though?
It did. It had a flash over. So she was found not by Floki, but by the local people. Found her,
Uh-huh.
and what happened is that because they found her, um, she says, "Hey, my village was attacked. These people, killed everybody there. This is where this army is. So the local lord is putting together troops to go get rid of them." And um, he hears about it. What's his face? It's not Floki. The giant guy.
Oh shit!
I'm
What is
blanking.
his
I'm blanking his name. He gets
Thorkel?
asked to. Yes, Thorkel gets asked
Okay.
to go along, like to take his men along with them, because he's very very strong. So are his men. So they're like, "Hey, you can help us. Will you, assist us in, you know, killing these people who invaded this village and murdered a bunch of people?" And he's like, "Sure." He's like, "That sounds like fun to me," which
Yep.
is, a thing. And the village people are happy to see him go. He's kind of eating them out of house and home at that point. So they discover that, they've been discovered, and they make preparations to leave. To do so, rather than using wagons, they're actually going to take their stuff with them using sleds, which is an interesting,
Well, because it's the
solution
middle
to
of
things.
winter,
Yes.
so yeah, you would use the sleds instead of the wheels. So what the hell would they? Would they just? I guess they would abandon their carts, I suppose, huh?
Yeah, they were going to just abandon the wagons there because the wagons are pointless. Though they would probably break them so nobody could use them behind them. So,
Sure.
so they're going to flee that way. Discover the army is really close. They're like, okay, these guys are close, but they seem really weak because Thorkel's guys haven't joined them yet. So we're going to go out and attack them, destroy this band here, and then we'll be ready to go. So the other big plot point is that they have Conehead. They basically say, "Hey, this is going on. We've been discovered." He gets angry. He's like, "I demand to talk to Askeladd." He's like, "Well, Askeladd's at the front. So if you want to go talk to him, you got to go up to where everybody's fighting at and talk to him there." He's obviously too busy to come here. He's like, "Fine, take me to him." So they're like, "Okay, fine, we'll take you to him." So they
Well,
lead him
we
off.
also forgot to mention the fact that Ragnar had found Thorfinn with a rabbit. He had been
Yes.
hunting. He found himself a rabbit. Ragnar had some veggies, and he invited Thorfinn to join Ragnar and
I'm back.
Canute. We're just
Yes, and
sitting.
the
We're,
prince. Yes.
we're talking about how Ragnar invited Thorfinn with his rabbit to join him and Canute for the stew that Canute was making. Because you discover that Canute is a really good cook. Like, he secretly had to learn how to cook because his father was like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're a prince. People cook for you. Don't be such a wine tit."
Don't act like
Right.
Don't act like a slave is the exact thing his father.
Yeah. So
told
he
him to
had to like
because-
secretly learn to cook. Then he enjoyed cooking as a hobby,
like-
and he's like a really good cook.
Exactly, because that entire Danish society is very based on war and strength, and the greatest glory that you can get is dying in a battlefield.
Well, I mean that's
But
that's just typical Viking shit, That's
yeah, no,
like
yeah,
they
that's their
they
culture.
literally can't go to their version of heaven unless they die in battle. Not the only way, but that's one of the big ways that they get there.
That's the big one, yeah.
Yeah. So like
And so
yeah. So turns out he had been cooking, and they had a really good meal. Thorfinn was like, "This is delicious." He seemed to start to warm up to Canute a little bit.
And then
And
the whole
then-
Conehead getting angry and whatnot happens. So they lead Conehead out into the woods, and surprise, surprise.
well, first they're like, "Hey, there's an attack going on. We're being attacked. We need help."
Oh no,
Conehead."
we covered that part.
We not covered that. I missed that. My bad.
I know, it's fine. So lead him out to the woods. He's like, "Hey, the sound of fighting is over that way, and we're headed this way." They're like, "Wow, took you a while to notice." And then a guy pops out of an ambush trap and stabs him through with a spear, which looks like it goes through his kidney and liver.
I'd say it hit his
Um,
lung, possibly.
Either way, he
Um,
gets stabbed in the back by some dude
Yes.
hiding in a hidey hole.
And then he demands to
basically
talk to-
because Askeladd wanted
and-
him out of the way because he wants
Yeah,
to be manipulating Canute.
Prince.
Yeah,
to Canute,
which
and
is
he
the
thinks
prince.
that this guy is standing in the way of hardening up the prince, which he actually is. But
Of course he is.
he's like, "I need to talk to Askeladd, bring him here." And they're like, "We're not going to bring him here." Then Askeladd actually is
It's
already on his way there, and he's like, "Hey, what do you want to talk about?" He's like, "Send everybody else away. I need to talk to you in private." He's like, "Okay, fine." Sends
Askeladd,
everybody else
being a
away
man with actual respect, is listening to him, which I
because
really
he is
liked.
dying. So he's like, "What do you want to say?" And he's like, "Here's the skinny on things you didn't know was going on." So in
In the
you know,
actual like Danish homeland, basically.
in the kingdom, that there
Mm.
is a political struggle going on because the king has not named an heir, and he has two heir apparents. So everybody is
One
split
is-
into two groups. One supports his brother, one supports Canute as basically a figurehead, and they're going to try to run things, so they don't really care about him. The problem here being is that I know from my position that the king has basically decided to side with his brother, and so he took Canute to London and left him there with those soldiers to die on purpose in battle. So one, his son would go to, the proper heaven, which is good, but it'd also get rid of the annoying son.
And
And
so
so
he
that's
could
like-
basically have his favorite son rule the kingdom because he thought
Yeah,
that he
his
was
favorite son
actually
would take over with no muss, no fuss, no civil war.
Exactly.
And
The issue being that if he named his favorite son as in charge, there would be a possible political uprising in
Right.
favor of Canute being leader instead.
But if Canute dies in battle
Then
first,
that can't happen.
then that doesn't happen. So Asla is like, "Well, shit." And
Why
then
didn't you tell me?
And then Conan dies. He's like, "Shit, you should have told me this originally." Because
Like,
it's basically
man.
implied I wouldn't have killed you because the fucking point at that point.
He's like, we could have been on the same goddamn side, you idiot.
Yes. So
But you had to keep it a secret. Bork bork to you too.
so that happens, and that's kind of where things are, leaving off. So it's going to be interesting to see Canute's reaction, what Askeladd does now with the fact that he's got information about, this guy was basically useless.
I think Askeladd is going to basically completely take over Ragnar's spot and try to
Oh, probably
become the father
And-
figure
get the
for
prince and
Canute.
lead him
Yeah.
to be the new figurehead of the Danes because he wanted to be in a high place of power anyways.
Do you
he also
think
can use the
that
prince.
Askeladd is probably going to try to kill the other brother?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. 100% Askeladd has to kill the other brother. He's
Yep.
probably going to tell Thorfinn to do it.
Yeah, and then Thorfinn's gonna do that, and then Thorfinn's gonna kill Askeladd in the duel post that, and then Thorfinn's gonna become the new leader of the Danes. You're welcome. Prediction.
Why
made.
would Thorfinn become the new leader? He doesn't have a stake to the claim, so.
Because he would be Canute's bodyguard, and he would be able to help protect Canute and use him as a figurehead.
Ah,
need be.
okay.
But he wouldn't be
Thing is, I don't
the
think
leader per se. I'm
Thorfinn.
saying Askeladd wants to be the leader of the Danes essentially by
Right.
using Canute as a figurehead, but Thorfinn has the ability to kill him and rework some shit. Hopefully, at least.
I don't know if Thorfinn would give a shit though. I don't know. I feel
No,
like
he
him and
That's the thing.
he really
they're
would
setting
not.
it up so Thorfinn and Canute I feel like they're going to become friends. Like it seems very much like
I think that he's going to be Canute's actual protector and give a shit about him,
Right.
Like everybody else in the previous history.
I
Right.
don't think
Cool.
he actually cares about what's going on in society in that regard.
I think he
No,
just
he really doesn't.
he
has one
just
goal, and
needs
that's
a
kill
fucking
Askeladd.
friend and a goddamn hug. All right.
And
It's
now
all
he has
Thorfinn
one of
needs.
those things. Man, if only he had a dad, that'd be cool.
I mean, look, you don't need those. It's optional.
Parents optional. Tell that to every goddamn superhero ever. Well,
No,
no,
okay.
but that's pretty much the episode, I really liked it because we got
Yeah, I was
politics and
very.
shit.
I will admit these last few episodes have been very slow and not a lot going on. Understandable.
100%.
So I'm kind of like, I want to see someone get murdered again. Besides, Ragnar's death was boring. Doesn't count. Nobody got decapitated in like 4 episodes that I've seen. I'm like, man.
Well, we have an upcoming fight between
Thorkel.
and
I was just
Thorfinn
gonna say in
coming.
this episode we also got Thorkel and his team figuring out where Canute and his
Right.
men are. So
Yeah.
they're gonna be able to hone in on that and start another fight,
Yes. So
which I think is going to be the final fight between Thorfinn and Thorkel.
So yeah,
It'll be
this next episode should be kind of cool. Hopefully.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
The show is still good. Like, even when it was slow, we were still getting plot progression and character development, which I'm super about.
Right.
Well, yeah, I think that about covers it for our anime this week.
Yeah. You know, it would be
hey,
really
guys,
cool
anything
though.
cool happen?
It would be
Anything
really
cool
cool
happen?
if we had like a really cool thing related to, Mixer, because we're all so
Mixer.
invested in it.
Wouldn't it be
is
really cool if we could get like another partnered streamer other than Shroud and Ninja over here from the Twitch side? Somebody,
especially one that we're already super big fans of, and always been in the same kind of community where we're all just super big fans of
totally
Destiny.
normal day. Okay, cool. So for anybody who hasn't been on Twitter or the internet for the past 3 hours,
Or
King
are just not involved in these communities.
or just not involved, King Gothalion is going to be a Mixer streamer starting on Tuesday.
He is basically the Destiny creator.
He is one of the heads of the Destiny community on Twitch,
Right.
which is super cool. Very nice guy, very funny guy.
Yes,
Directory
I
dad.
love
yeah.
him. Yeah, there you go.
And
He is
that'll bring a lot of the Destiny community over to to Mixer, which is very cool because, hey, what directory did we all meet in?
I'm pretty sure it was Division.
It was actually
No,
Warframe.
it was Destiny. So yeah, because all of the
cool.
kind of game genres that he tends to play, and I always tend to, love he loves the Looty McShooties, and I too adore the Looty McShooties, and I'm excited to have such a big figurehead of
that's the
these.
big news of today, which is very cool.
Literally, like what, an hour ago? A little over an hour ago.
3 hours ago.
Was it up? Jesus Christ, we're talking
Yeah,
about.
3 hours ago.
It was
All right.
noon. It was noon.
Eastern
time, which was about 3 hours and 8 minutes ago. And so that's super cool. Hey,
Yes,
did
very cool.
anything big come out this week though?
Outer Worlds, I'm
games?
hearing, is very fucking good.
I was gonna talk
played
about it later, but oh my god, Outer Worlds is so good.
Yeah, I haven't played it
having
yet.
So much fun with it. I loaded it up. First of all, I should say Fallout New Vegas is my favorite Fallout game. Period. I think that gives you the best dialogue options, gives you the best story choices, and is made by the best developers, being Obsidian. Obsidian released Outer Worlds on Friday. I have played about 2 hours of it. It is exactly what I wanted. It is Fallout New Vegas in space.
Yeah.
It looks similar but cleaned up. I haven't run into any glitches. I've only gone through like one main story quest so far, and I'm just falling in love with the world already. It's dumb, it's funny, and your interactions make like actual.
They have effects. Like you can go through and kill everybody. Like
You can kill everybody.
even like quest givers and people are important for the story. Like
Yeah.
at one point, it tells you to go to this place, talk to this person because it's the next point forward for moving the story forward. So I
who
get
were you talking
there.
about, Reed?
It's the woman on the space station. What's her
Okay,
name?
I haven't
Gladys?
gotten that far yet.
Yeah. So you're supposed to talk to her and move the story forward that way. So I get there and I'm like, meh, and I shoot her in the head.
Yeah.
So
Toxic.
now the next person, the next
When I met
like
the captain of the ship, I convinced her to go into a fight with the bandits and then shot her from behind,
yes, I did that.
You guys are
Um,
dicks.
and then lied about it to the computer.
You guys are
um,
dicks.
Oh my gosh,
So-
I am putting all of my stats into dialogue. Are you kidding me? It's so
Oh,
much fun.
that's where that and stealth are where mine have been going, so I can pick lock stuff. So
barely put
I
any
kill this
myself in.
lady, and it's like, well, go back to your ship and talk to the AI. So I go back to the ship and talk to the AI, and the AI is like, she's dead, huh? All right, executing directive. Captain is a psychopath. It's like, go here now.
Dang. See, I just convinced the computer to make me the new captain.
No, this is
Wow.
after I've been made the new captain.
Okay. Yeah. No, it was such a good time. Like the entire world is just based around like all of the colonies are run by a super corporation that is just mirroring like modern day like capitalism. Like I
Yeah,
was reading
there's
through the logs and it was like, all right, remember, we care about you and your health. So if you're sick, make sure that you submit the paperwork and wait 2 to 4 weeks for it to go through. And if it gets approved, make sure you take your 1 day off at the approved times, which could be 4 to 8 weeks after we approve it. It's like, what? It was basically telling you can't get sick or they will boot you off the planet, which is it's hilarious because that's what a lot of modern day like minimum wage jobs are like.
God,
And like
yeah, they
your
don't give
first
a fuck
companion is
about
like,
you at
you're
all.
like, why don't you ever talk about your mom? It's like, oh, well, you see, when my mom started working here, she signed a contract that any of her kids would be the property of Spacer's Choice. It's like, wait, what the fuck?
What?
That's yeah, it's like it's ridiculous and it's
Right.
kind of just hilarious and stupid and fun. And I'm
Yeah.
so
all about
that
it.
that companion I don't have
Oh,
because
really?
the first planet it loads you into, like on that first area before you get the ship,
Yeah.
I literally murdered every single person on it.
Oh, so you killed her when you got to Reed's office?
Why would you
I
do
killed
that?
everybody.
Just for the
Everybody on that
lulz?
planet is dead.
Just to see if you could? You're a monster.
I definitely killed a lot, but I kept some people.
Oh no,
I
I
kept-
wiped out the town. I wiped out the other place. I wiped out all
kept,
the bandits.
uh,
Everything is
Copper's a
dead.
monster. He just wants to watch the world burn. He's the
I
Joker.
told you he'd be fine as a ghoul.
God
He's
damn.
a psychopath. No, I kept a lot of people alive, but I used a lot of intimidation tactics, which was really funny.
Yeah.
So, like the very first thing is you need to get like a power regulator so you can get your ship to fly. And there's two places you can get it from: either the main city that has a bunch of assholes, or the outskirts that doesn't have a bunch of assholes. But and the leader of the city is like, go steal it from these assholes, and then we can convince them to come back to our city and we can rule over them. And so obviously what I did was I stole it from the main city because I'm not a terrible person.
Are you sure
Um,
about that?
Yeah, no, but then I went back and the dude who told me to do it sitting there at the power regulator is like, why'd you do it, man? Why'd you got to be like that? I have all these guards in there waiting to shoot you. And I was like, yeah, but I got a gun right here and you're right next to me, so I can kill you first. He's like, all right, you know what? Never mind. You bring up an excellent point. Guards, stand down. Nobody shot me. Walked in, took the power regulator. Everybody was sitting outside the factory complaining about how they don't have jobs or lives anymore. And I laughed. It was a really good time.
Mm-hmm.
See, I got to town first.
Mm.
I went to talk to that guy, and he was talking to an engineer, and she's like, I think you have a guest. And he's like, I don't care. I'm talking to you right now. I'm like, well, that's rude. So I shot him in the head.
Ooh. See, I walked in and he was like, "You're not in uniform." I was like, "Excuse me, who the fuck do you think I am?" He's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I thought you were one of our employees." And he started like trying to kiss my ass, and I was like, "Yeah, goddamn right, you're kissing my ass right now."
Yeah, he was just rude to me, so I killed him.
Yeah.
And that set his
No.
guards off. It set the engineer off. I'm like,
Copper,
"All right,
you're a
fine."
piece of shit.
They went downstairs, and people were like, "Oh my god!" So I started killing guards, and then the town folk were like, "Oh my god!" So I started killing all the town folk, and they started going house by house and clearing all the houses out of people.
See, I just had this
House
issue.
by house.
I wanted to do that, but I couldn't find a place to get bullets. I have 0 bullets in my inventory. I'm just running around with a sword.
I had to
Oh
make
my
sure they were all
God.
dead, Dale.
Jesus
The
Christ.
townsfolk will run away and cower from you and hide in rooms. So you have to track them down and go house by house to find them.
Good
bloodhound.
Lord. Please. All right, Copper. At least you're detail oriented.
Like when I opened the bar, there was like a row of people. So at this time, I'd been wandering around outside before I went to town. So I'd found a heavy machine gun just kind of sitting out in the wilds. So I opened the bar door with a heavy machine gun with like 500 rounds and just start spraying back and forth. And there's like a good like 10 people in the bar, so they all kind of die, which is cool.
Yeah.
And you start looting the bodies for all their ammo.
Yeah, the game is exactly what I wanted from Obsidian.
Mhm.
It's Fallout. Like they
How's
don't have VATS because That's a Fallout thing, but the way they make up for it is you can slow down time, which is
The thing
very
is,
cool and it works really
I
well.
I like their system better because it makes sense in the story. They linked
Yes.
the slow down
So,
time thing to an actual story beat.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
linked to the fact that you came out of cryostasis and your mind's kind of fucked up, so it perceives time incorrectly, but you can use it to your advantage.
Yes. If you when you get to the
Huh.
space station,
Neat.
if you search the infirmary, you can find a log in there about someone who had a similar case, way less severe than yours. And it's called skip sickness, and it occurs in people who um, are in cryo for way too long. You were in cryo for 70 years, which normally this would just make you die. You got awoken, but there's a guy who saves you. Um, so because of that, though, you have skip sickness, so time slows down for you at times, which you can trigger
You
and
can
use to your
trigger it,
advantage,
and
such
whenever
as
you shoot, then it like
it
cuts it
speeds
down.
up. Yeah, so if you just trigger it, it stays for a long period of time, but movement and shooting makes it go by faster.
Yeah,
Though
so
you
it's
you
not
can get
super broken.
yeah, but you can get perks to increase that time and increase its cooldown and stuff like that because perks are really, you don't get a super ton of them, so spending on those, makes sense.
And you
But
you have a long path of just like when you start the game, you have so many perks that you need to go through and select and choose, and it feels really good.
like there's 6 different stats, and then there's
Mhm.
a bunch of different skills, and then when you start leveling up, there's actual there's things that are called perks as well. There are different tiers. Your
Mhm.
companions get the same thing. They get skills and perks and stuff like that. There's crafting for weapons and armor. There's mods for weapons and stuff like that, um, as well as just going buying stuff, which is cool. There's different um, energy types, like element types, like acid or radiation and stuff like that, that can be added to weapons that have different effects.
Neat.
Mhm.
Like there's a huge plethora of stuff, plus all the different dialogue trees you can go through. What skills you know and at what level will actually impact not just gameplay but dialogue with people. Like as Comfy said, you can intimidate people, you can persuade people, you can lie to people, and successfully doing these things will actually grant you experience as well, which is cool. There's lock picking and stuff, so you can come across doors that I came across a door that requires 60 in lock picking to open.
Yeah, it does not give you just all of the tools right off the bat. You need to earn that shit.
So it's really interesting. All your skills can go up to 100. They're in groups of 3 for the most part. So when you put ranks into stuff, uh, before you hit 50 in that group, it every time you put a point into the group, it adds 1 to each skill, and that's in the group. But once you hit 50, what it does instead is that it no longer gives a bonus per. You have to go in and put individual points in the stuff to increase it all the way up to 100 if you want to.
Mhm.
So it's generous in the lower levels, so you feel a good power grind and growth, which is great. But as you get higher level, you don't become stupidly overpowered because you have to kind of pick and choose where you want to go. So it has a nice curve to your power growth, which is very nice.
Yeah, I I'm just loving it. It's so much fun.
Cool.
And
It
even
feels
better
good.
is the fact that it's on Game Pass for PC and Xbox. So if you've never had Game Pass, they're still doing the $1 trial thing for a month, and
And
it's a single
you
player
can
RPG, so you can probably finish it in a month. Go spend $1.
use a creator code to support a creator.
You can, creator code Confimus.
Yeah, that's exactly the one that I would use.
Oh,
Hashtag ad.
and they get the full benefit from that creator code, even though it's only $1 for you. They
Right.
actually get the full benefit, which is nice. That's something that they didn't have to do. It could have been a percentage, but they're like, nah, you get full benefit. So
So
it's an easy
definitely worth it.
recommend game, especially
Yep.
at $1. You cannot beat that price.
Super good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a game that I was super excited for, and I wasn't going to be able to afford it. And then they were like, "Hey, you know what? Or you can just Hey, Game
Yeah,
Pass.
I wasn't gonna pick it up till it went on sale, and I'm like, wait, Game Pass is $1. Fuck it. Like,
Exactly.
it's
Literally exactly me.
it's like, how can I not spend $1?
Exactly. It's perfect. It's super easy. It's super cheap, and it's amazing.
And we also
Mhm.
had COD come out, which is super fun.
I have not played the.
I actually was playing COD today with Dale.
I've
Yes.
not
I
played
picked
the
it up.
campaign yet.
I haven't played the campaign yet either.
I won't probably
or,
touch the campaign until after
or the
wedding
co-op.
when I can have time. You know,
yes,
that
to
stuff
sit down and
too.
go through.
Yeah,
Um,
because
Multiplayer feels very good.
It does
Yeah.
so far. It feels like you're constantly unlocking stuff. I haven't checked to see if I can actually make custom emblems and whatnot yet, because that's always been
I don't believe you can.
You
a
cannot.
thing I enjoy.
It's back to a Modern Warfare 2.
It's
that
nice.
makes
It was
sense.
nice to be able to do that, but the thing is, I wouldn't want to. I don't know. I'd feel weird streaming it because there's gonna be lots of dicks. Would be, I should say.
It creates issues based on the fact that there is a lot of inappropriate stuff.
People like to draw
um,
dicks. It's just
but
it happens.
I've always liked it because I like making my own custom emblem.
No, totally. I used to have some pretty cool ones. Like I had you saw the custom one I made in Black Ops 4, the fucking potato. You know, like even I like doing that. I'm not good at it, but I made something that was funny that I liked. So.
My favorite one is still the flying pig I made.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
You sent me that multiple times.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's my favorite thing. Is the flying.
It's pretty funny.
He's like, you've been killed by someone who's only good when pigs fly.
But yeah, I
Congratulations.
feel like I'm really bad at this Call of Duty.
Oh, I'm awful at this Call of Duty.
It's like it's a very slow, methodical shooter. Not to the point where it's okay. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Compared to like other Call
compared
of
to
Duties.
other
Yes.
CODs,
Which
slower.
I
The time to
should
kill
like
is still super fast.
because I've
What?
played a lot of Rainbow Six Siege. I love Rainbow Six Siege, and that is a very slow. Maybe I just need to put myself in the mindset of like you can't run around like a chicken with your fucking head cut off in this game.
can't.
You will be punished.
There are
But
two
I'm just
very
like
interesting
Call of
things.
Duty, lol,
One is
run
that-
around.
Is that this COD in particular is fully crossplay? which is
That's
interesting.
fucking fantastic. Yeah.
And if you are on PC, but you're like, well, I don't use a keyboard and mouse, I like controller, like myself. It actually has 4 different options for aim assist. So you can actually set which aim assist you like, and they all have different effects. There's like no.
Oh,
Did we lose Copper?
I think we lost Copper.
Uh-oh.
I heard him disappear. You heard him disappear?
Yeah, I heard him disappear.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
He's back.
Hello.
Hello.
He back. He have returned.
Back.
So yeah, there's 4 different aim assists that have different effects. So depending on how you like your aim assist to work, you can just kind of go through and play with those.
Yeah.
Which is
Awesome.
Which is great. It's something I wish more games did, because it gives the option to turn it off, and it gives the option to have more aim assist or less based on your particular needs, which is great for people who are have difficulty on playing games based on physical limitations or whatnot.
Yeah.
So the fact that developers are looking at that and including it is great.
Yeah, a lot of games are becoming way more accessible, which is super
Yes.
cool.
Yeah, when you first start this game up and it says, okay, here's your setup stuff, and you have to go through it. One of the first things it shows on that screen is color blind options.
Yep, and
Which
I
is
looked
amazing.
through them, and half of them were gray for me.
Yeah, which is amazing. That's such a good thing.
Like the fact that they're starting it off being like, here, we're trying to make this work for you. Like, do what you can.
Yes.
It's good. There is one complaint about the game that I've been hearing a lot. That is map design.
Yeah, the map design, they wanted to do a different stance where they were just like they wanted it to be chaotic and like more realistic, where it's like you
All of the
can't
maps
really
for me are love or hate. That's all it is.
There-
There is
yeah,
I was,
no in between for me.
I was watching Seagull play yesterday, with a few like higher end players, and I forget which mode they were playing, but it's the one where you have to cap a zone, and then once that zone is capped and defended, you have to headquarters.
Headquarters. I like headquarters.
There's a particular map that kept coming up in rotation. They're like, we can't. He doesn't. They're like, this map isn't right for headquarters, and it's to the point where Seagull's like, this has to be a bug that this map is included in this playlist, because it is physically impossible to cap this point and then move literally all the way across the map to the other point before the other team gets there.
Is it
I
the
know
one
which
that
one
had
you're
like the
talking
bridge in
about.
the middle?
I don't know the name of the
No,
map.
no, no,
I
no,
wasn't
the
paying attention to that. But the
I think
map is
it's
so big.
something
To do it,
palace.
you would literally have to leave
600 meters between points.
before the headquarters is like fully defended. Get on an ATV, ride the ATV all the way across to try and cap that point before the enemy team had it fully capped. Because they started testing it, so it's like this is ridiculous. This cannot be a proper
That's
map
stupid.
for this.
Yeah,
It was just so big.
I was playing headquarters the other day off stream, and I posted up. It was the map with the big bridge in the middle.
Hmm.
I posted up there, and I got a 20 kill streak.
Oh God.
I just pulled out a sniper and killed everybody, and it felt amazing.
Because it wouldn't surprise me if there are different maps for things like ground war versus like
Yeah.
See, there's
pit
only
play
2
and
ground
stuff
war
like that.
maps, and the one was from the beta, and I had a lot of complaints about it in the beta about how they should rebalance it, and nothing really seems to change.
Well,
So,
there's the thing.
like,
If this map that I'm thinking of isn't in ground war normally, then it might actually be a bug.
yeah, maybe that would be a good ground war map because it's very large. I know the one you're talking where we played a game of team deathmatch, and the entire time we bitched because we're like, this can't. This is so slow. I hate team deathmatch in this game.
I'm hit
It
and
is
miss with
so
I've
slow
always-
paced.
I've always
Other
liked
game modes are
objective-based
fine.
game
If I have an
modes more.
objective that drives people towards a certain location, it's fine. But like, it's so slow on just TDM. I'm just like, please no.
I've always been a fan of objective-based game modes because it drives. It gives you a place to go and a reason to do things.
Right.
I've never been a fan of headquarters in Call of Duty, but I've actually been really enjoying it in this one. So I don't know what that says about it. The gunplay in it is fantastic. Some of the maps are just really, really miss for me. Some of them I really like because I've been playing them. I'm like, wow, this reminds me of like Modern Warfare 2. But there's also been a lot that have been, just not particularly great.
I haven't hated any of them yet, but I don't care too terribly much about how COD maps are designed. I usually play COD just to screw around. Like I don't ever expect to be good at the game.
Yeah.
It's not that type of shooter for me. So.
Yeah.
Especially
I mean, that
where
makes sense.
if I play on PC, it normally doesn't have aim assist, and since I have to play with controller, that's a big issue for a lot of those games. So I'll probably do better at this one because I can have actual aim assist to help out.
Yeah. I'm excited to try the campaign. I've heard that it's really, really dark.
Yeah.
I heard
That's
the campaign is supposed to be really good and like really gritty, which is nice.
Yeah. I heard that there were people who were playing it and they were like, I don't like that I had to make these decisions.
That's good though. This is a
that's
war
good.
game. Like
It's good.
this is
It's not glorifying war like the last
Yeah.
18 Call of Duties have.
like
Sorry, 15.
soldiers have to make some really shitty decisions in life.
Yeah.
So the fact that this reflects that gives people a better taste of what people who actually have to go to war.
Yeah.
you know,
And like, Copper, weren't
deal
you a
with.
military brat? Like, you know a lot of that.
Yep, I am. I'm an army brat. My dad served for 21 years before being put out on medical.
Yep.
He wasn't actually going to leave himself. They actually said, "You're too injured from
You
service
gotta
to
go."
keep
Yeah.
serving." So, um,
Also,
'cause
army
by that-
brat's a term. I'm not calling Copper a brat, but he does know he is one.
yes, army brat is a term for kids
People who
who's
grew up in like military
in the military. Yeah,
home-
it's either one
military
parent
bases and stuff.
or both parents actively serve. You typically grow up on the military bases themselves. A lot of times, a lot of us move around a lot to either other countries or just different bases, stuff like that.
I know a lot
it's
of
also-
people that have, like, by the time they were 16, lived in 4 different states and 4 different corners of the U.S. because their
Yep.
parents were just posted at different bases constantly.
Yeah, we moved around every 2.5 years. That was our average. So we moved around a ton. And the term itself refers, even though the term is army brat, it does cover the other branches. So whether their parents are Army,
Navy,
Air Force, or Navy, it's just a term because Army is the arcing term for military.
I'm sure that
But yeah,
there will
like-
be people that are upset that you call them members of the Army, though, because they were in the Navy, not the Army.
When you use the term army brats, service members know what you talk about because there's a lot of service members who are army brats themselves, right? Like they're second or third or fourth generation military.
Yeah,
It's a common
not
thing.
uncommon.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
I grew up, living on bases and stuff like that. So there are, I know people who would go away for military service to foreign countries and come back different, right? Or they'd go away and not come back. That's the thing that happened, right? So the thing that these people go through and see, like in service, whether it's in an act of war, or in peacekeeping missions, or in other military actions such as like the Navy SEALs, or if you're Canadian, GTF actions. They see some really bad shit and have to make some bad decisions. So
Yeah.
seeing a war game that portrays a little more of that realistically with, hey, this isn't a glorifying thing. This is real gritty shit where you make
like,
some
bad things
shitty
happen.
choices. Yeah, like you're choosing the less of two evils usually. Like it's not always, oh, this is good, this is bad. Sometimes it's like, well, there's this or there's this. Which one is less shitty?
Yeah, and to be fair, a lot of first-person shooters in recent history that are like modern war shooters have been very, very heavy on glorifying the military and military operations. When
now
we're not the good guys all the time. All right.
Now, that said, it's not always the developer's fault for that type of thing.
No, it's not.
There's a lot of first-person shooters that are actively funded by military. The military actually helps fund them, and gives them money for it because it draws
recruiting.
People. Yeah, and
I think America's Army was one of those.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, I heard about yeah.
And I can't blame any development studio for one taking that money. Game development is a tight margin business.
Yep.
And I can't blame militaries that try to boost recruiting that way either. It just that's what you got to do. Like that's just how it works.
Yep.
What are you gonna do?
So I'm excited to try that. I might hop into that later today. It'll be really interesting.
I think I might hop into it more today, off stream. It's possible.
Yeah, I think the boys are still playing over in Comfy's channel.
Possibly. Oh yeah, I have a new Discord now.
Yes, that's the other thing. Comfy has a Discord now, so for those who
link in my Twitter
are part of the community or want to talk with Comfy and that, come join us.
Yep, I've had it for a while, but I've never really utilized it, and I kind of feel like I need my own space. So started ramping it up, built the infrastructure the other day, invited a couple people to it, and we've got it all built out. And now it's all ready to go. So,
and I love how it has more structure and infrastructure in place and people in it than mine, which I've had for over a year and a half.
I've had mine for a little bit shorter than yours. But so what's funny is I created my Discord because it was really easy for me to share files with myself using Discord. So I still have like those chats that nobody can see except for me because I just put homework in it.
I have those too. I have that too.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, if you go to school or work and need a way to
it's so easy
send yourself files and stuff like that, it's insanely good for that. It's crazy.
Especially because like a lot of the times I can just zip my files and send them to me. And like I can use like Google Drive and stuff for it, but like all of my laptops have Discord and it's so much easier to find stuff.
Yeah.
So it's something
that
it's for a while.
One system. And even if you don't have Discord downloaded to a computer that you're on, you can access it through the web and still have access to those files.
And it also works very easily with my phone. And I can tell you right now, I don't like using Google Drive on my phone.
I've never tried it.
Google Drive on a phone is awful. It's just straight awful.
It's not good. I was trying to find a file the other day to email from my phone, and I literally had to leave, grab my laptop, go back, and then pull it up because it just wasn't working. I use Google Drive. Like I have a big Google Drive. Mine's like over 100 gigabytes. Yeah.
Because
work.
well, they also gave it to me for free,
Ooh.
so
Ooh.
I don't pay for mine for like 2 years, which is cool. Nice thing for Google to do for me.
All
And
the cute people at Google.
well, that's a benefit from working with my previous job, where I actually work for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because of the job I did with the connections we had. So I have a free Google Drive. It's quite big, but I would never use it for my phone because it is awful. It's great from a PC.
Yeah.
If you have a decent internet connection, because you still have to upload shit to it. So if you have a slow internet connection, it still sucks.
Yep.
But you know, it's great for big files. But I wouldn't use it for. I wouldn't use like Discord for a giant file.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Discord can't handle anything larger than 50 megabytes, anyways.
Yeah.
But my files are generally under that unless it's a 3D project, in which case I need to actually manually transfer it anyways because it's multiple gigs.
Actually, let me check
Ooh,
how
right
big.
Give me 1
So
second.
the last thing I worked on, file wise, that isn't like massive because of the fact it's multiple files in one, was probably the one-eyed mask thing I just did. Which I submitted to Bungie, by the way, to get up on the creations page. So let's hope that is a thing that happens. Yeah, so that file's actually pretty big. So I wouldn't be able to put that up on there. I should check my email for that. Because I would love to get that up on Bungie just for trying to see if I can get the emblem, because they have the new art emblem for people who get selected for that.
Oh yeah, are you gonna be going for that?
Yeah, if my thing gets approved, which it should, I am going to be posting to everybody we know in the community to try to push that so it gets selected.
Very nice.
Just like, come on, do me a solid here. I want this emblem.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if anybody in the community will get the emblem, it will be you. So yeah. What were we looking at for? Didn't we already decide something for this week? I don't remember exactly. I know Comfy's not in his chair right now, but
I forget if we had actually decided on something.
I think you
or...
and Comfy were possibly like, "Hey, we know what we're doing," but I'm not positive, of course. Never positive.
Was it one of the new shows we were thinking of? I wonder, because a lot of them are
Couldn't
now
tell
getting
ya.
their third and fourth episode, which is the time where it would be a good idea to start looking at them. Let's take a look, actually. So, let's bring up the new fall anime and take a look. So we have a bunch of new shows that came out, and we have a bunch of returning shows. I think we should skip some of the returning shows just because the ones that are basically back are ones I can guarantee you are good, such as Food Wars or My Hero. It's hard to debate those not being interesting and good. Aside from that, there are more isekais. This is the time of the isekai.
Ugh. I'm over it.
We were gonna look at something we'd watched before as a second look.
Were we gonna do that already?
I don't know if you're doing that already. I know there was that. We were thinking about looking at something like that. We were thinking about looking at a movie, though I forget which movie, so I'm hoping Comfy can jog my memory.
I know we talked about the Demon Slayer movie. That won't be for a while.
Yes,
so,
that won't be for a bit. Because that's not really out yet. But new show-wise, aside from returning stuff, I'm not sure what would be interesting this season around. Like, the best shows for this new anime season seem to be stuff that is basically returning shows.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because it's the end of the year.
Is Fairy Gone going to be up to episode 3?
I can check to see where they're at. Hold They are on episode 4, sadly.
I mean, we could revisit. We could do that.
We should at some point. Aside from that, we'll wait to see what Comfy says.
I think
if
we're
he wants to
doing
do that
Fairy
right
God
away.
next week. We've decided.
We've also got the
Nope.
Isekai where the god opens a pet store. There is an interesting, almost like a film noir type show dealing with cyborgs and a mystery out this year as
Ooh.
well. So that's an interesting one. Those are like two of the more interesting new shows that have kind of shown up. Another show that I'm enjoying, but I wouldn't call good, is another isekai where it deals with 7 people who've been transported to another world, and each of them is like super good at whatever they do. Like one guy is the Prime Minister of Japan. One guy is a financial genius and has a stake of like 30% of all economies on the planet. One's the world's best doctor, stuff like that. And so these 7 people are transported into a fantasy world that doesn't have electricity, anything like that, where magic is a thing. And they kind of start applying themselves to the world as they would normally, and being themselves. Like one guy basically ruins a financial empire within 3 episodes because he's like, screw that guy.
What is this that we're talking about? I'm suddenly interested.
It's one of the new isekais that is out.
Nice.
It is such a long name.
Yeah, we're discussing what
about
we were
saying.
going to be doing. I don't remember if we had something planned. Did you guys decide something?
We can do ReZero and finish the Isekai Quartet so that we can watch that.
That would probably be a good thing. We were also talking Fairy Gardens on episode 4. We could do that.
We could do Fairy Gone.
For the next season.
I feel like if we do an Isekai, we should just do ReZero to get it out of the way so that we can then come back and do Isekai Quartet, and then
probably, yeah,
we'll have the whole shebang done. That being said, I don't necessarily think we need to do ReZero this week if we don't want to if we don't want to oversaturate ourselves with the Isekais.
Well,
I'm for it. I'll do it. I will not do it if you don't want to. You know me.
It's been a bit since we've watched an isekai. And
I mean, has it?
It's hard to avoid
It's probably
them
been
because
like
there's
2 or
so
3
many of
weeks.
them.
What do you mean?
I
It's
know
not that
there's
long.
so many of
There's
them.
a lot of them though, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's such a thing right now. Like they're so big.
Yeah.
And I can't even blame them for being big because they are popular and some of them are very interesting.
Some of them are hilarious. You kidding me?
I mean, we literally did Overlord and then Tanya.
Yeah.
Yes, so.
Tanya's
And
a little...
Copcraft.
Okay, now Copcraft.
So
No, Copcraft isn't actually an isekai.
it's kind of like it's isekai adjacent. So yes,
Adjacent.
let's not do that.
I'll give him Isekai adjacent because it's funny. But yeah, no, I don't want to oversaturate us with isekais,
If there are people here that like, what the fuck is an isekai? Just for reference, it's the show type where like they basically take a character from another world. So all of the shows where you take normal average Joe from high school and he's like, wait, what? And then he gets transported to like fantasy world where he's a magician or something.
We also, just to point out to my chat, there is another world that people are transporting to, and isekai is from another world. So technically, it's isekai adjacent. Not quite isekai, but it's the same level of isekai that Gate is. Like, for real. I don't even know if that counts, but yeah. So, what else? What could we do? We could always revisit JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I will kick you.
Oh, I was just gonna say we could revisit Konosuba, but that's another isekai.
It is.
Yeah, that's true. So let's. All right, look here. Season 3, Fairy Gone. Or sorry, season 2. Season
They're
2,
not past
Fairy
season
God.
2 yet, champ.
Sorry,
I am
I'm sorry.
glad they're not past
We'll
season
do the
2 at
first
all.
3 episodes of season 2 of Fairy God, which is not our
Okay.
typical thing, but that is a show we kept with the first season before we did Vinland Saga. So
We're basically, chat for those wondering, we're going to check to see if the show has improved any since its first season, which it was.
we were all just like, this is the most
Eh,
mediocre
like,
shit we've ever seen. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it's
just,
JoJo's
yeah.
Bizarre Adventure changed my
I
mind.
can't even call it a bad show because it doesn't hit the mark of being.
hence
Bad?
mediocre. Just mediocre.
It's just
Hi, Sasha. I got a doggo laying on my foot. It's
like
warm.
it's not good. It's not bad. It's just so in the middle of the road for
Yeah.
so many things it does. And it's there are bad parts in it,
CG.
like their CG
There's
is
a lot of CG.
bad. Is just bad.
Remember when we watched To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts and it was just a significantly better version of that?
Yes, that was.
Where everything was actually hand animated and pretty? Ugh. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was rough. It's like, here's this show. It's much better than this show.
Are we
It's
into
like-
horror still? Do you have a good horror one for us?
I mean,
it
it's
is
still Spooktober.
It's still
It is
Spooktober, so if there is a good spooky show,
Elfin Lied is what I'm being told.
who
Is
Is that
I
a
don't.
no for you, Copper?
that show is interesting.
So,
Nope. We're moving on. Copper doesn't know how to
No,
say. It's
it's-
terrible.
It's not bad. It's
I'm
old.
kidding.
Elfin Light is old.
Ah,
So the animation is dated now, but it has a lot of triggers in it for a lot of people. Like it is a very
Uh-huh.
much one of those shows where there's a huge, if you have problems with this, or this, all of which are awful, don't watch this show.
interesting. So it's more
Um,
trouble than it's worth, is what you're kind of saying.
It's a we need to give a warning show. Well, here's the thing: any horror anime that is decent in
Yeah,
the
you
terms
have
of
to
being
give, like,
horror, it's
warnings.
gonna have some really questionable stuff in it because
uh-huh.
gore, violence, that type stuff are kind of things that happen in horror, right? So
Right.
we could also look, if we're looking at horror shows, we could look at Parasite.
Oh, yeah, that's on my list.
We talked
still.
about that a while ago. I've heard a couple people talk about Parasite. It's up to
I'm
you
not
if you want.
surprised. Parasite is a extremely good show that I haven't watched more than the first 2 episodes of.
It is, however, not going to be Spooktober when we publish the next episode. It is still Spooktober when we're going to be watching it. So, I mean, I'm down for that. That's fine.
We can watch Parasite. That's a good one.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
We'll do Parasite.
Parasite next week.
Sure.
Works for
All
me.
right.
What are you
Here we
guys
go.
up to this week? Besides watching Parasite. I'm not super busy. Nothing going on for me
Nothing
really.
super busy for me.
Pretty
I
much
sit
just
on
the
my
same
photo shoot,
same for me. Not much different for me.
I'm gonna do a Halloween stream with my cosplay. It's gonna be good.
That's going to be fun. I'm excited. That's going to be on the same day that I'm getting married. So actually, I lied about having nothing going on this week. I'm getting married Thursday.
That's kind of important.
Yeah, a little bit
Little
important.
important, yeah.
Little bit.
Little important, yeah.
I
So,
don't have much for my cosplay, but I do have this.
oh well, you
Did
just
he
done gave it
just,
away. You gave it away.
Did he just put something in his mouth, chat?
He put the Nezuko gag in his mouth. Okay.
He's being the wiggle.
Okay, so Comfy is dressed up as Nezuko for Halloween. He's
Whoa!
going to be doing.
Spoilers. Come on,
What
man.
else? What else would you be?
Listen. It's an
You-
audio podcast.
Wow, Dale. Wow. Wow.
All right, blame me. I'm the bad guy here. All right,
Yeah. I definitely also have some good pictures. Ooh,
nice.
I want to show one of them because I know it's not going to be used.
Uh-huh.
It's the one where I'm like wearing jeans still.
Oh, that one. Okay.
God.
I've seen all these pictures. So
That's what has all of the pictures.
Oh my God. All right. It's classy. It's very classy.
It's real classy. I was literally getting dressed back up and we were done. And I was like, wait a second, I need to take this picture. Bree grabbed the camera. And I just put the gag. I didn't even have the gag because it arrived at the house literally while we were
Doing the
while we were
photo
like
shoot.
3 hours away. So unfortunately, we won't have it there for, we won't have it in any of the pictures, but we're definitely going to have it for later. But yeah, Copper has all the good pictures. He has some good ones. I think I know which one we should use. But I'm leaving it up to him because we took a good chunk. So
I mean, it's basically what he does for a living. I'm sure he'll manage to do it very well. I have faith in Copper's ability to make beautiful, beautiful, beautiful photos.
Yes.
Out of awful, awful things I've been.
Exactly. I gave him some pretty bad pictures, and I'm hoping he'll be able to use them.
Nice.
Oh, you should see some other people's.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
None of these pictures is pretty, chat. Just,
Calendar soon. Calendar soon. But yeah, I did get this finally, which is good. So now I have...
I need to receive everybody's pictures, too. I'm still waiting on some people. I mean, I've got yours, Dale's, Labels, Tad's. I think that's it. Like,
wow. Yeah, you still got a lot to...
I'm missing 2/3 still? Like,
yeah, that's kind of an issue.
Literally everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of people are taking theirs this weekend, so I'm expecting more on Monday. Like, I know, was it Amarok said he's doing his this weekend? Fish is in the middle of moving, so she's probably not going to take hers till Monday or Tuesday, which
she
is
said
fine.
She's going to try to do them today or tomorrow. When I was talking to her,
no pressure on Fish because she's moving and moving.
She's got a lot going on right now. Kevin said he'd try to get his done this weekend.
Yes, Kevin has also been insanely busy.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of things going on with Rare Drop behind the scenes, setting up the new office, Goth moving over to Mixer, the new office
Kevin
being
currently
basically
being on Mixer.
Kevin being on Mixer, Tim moving to Tampa.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and we literally are just like, I told him, I was like, you're busy, like get it when you can.
Yeah, it's like,
but he did DM me. He was like, I'm gonna try to get it done this week. So hopefully that'll get taken care of. We'll be able to get that going out. He had
a vacation set with his wife and that, so yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like,
yeah, if one or two people are a little later on their stuff, it's fine. I just need
as much as
the majority to work
as much as I can get to work with, because if there's issues that
this is why I hate group projects. I just want to point that out.
Calendars are always a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
just as a thing, like I used to do a calendar every year with my previous job. It was something
really
we had to do, like every single year we had to do one, and it was a pain in the ass. Even when we had to like use this stuff, because we would have all the photos and that to do, like to put in the calendar up front. But because it's a calendar from a billion-dollar business, they sold ad space in the calendar.
Oh no.
So then we had a bunch of we had to get a bunch of ads from different advertisers come into the calendar.
That sounds terrible.
It's like, oh boy, thanks.
That sounds terrible, not because you have to deal with like, oh no, there's ads in my calendar, but just there's so many extra BS things you have to deal with all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, it's like I was dealing with things like Coke and Pepsi or Nestle, stuff like that. It was just a pain.
You know, I hate that everybody like cares about Pepsi, but nobody ever asks, is Coke okay?
They don't have to. Coke runs most of the planet.
Well, yeah, but everybody's always asking, is Pepsi okay?
Well, there's a reason to ask that. Pepsi's only big in North America.
That's true.
The rest of the world, they're this tiny, tiny little company that has like a minuscule share of market. Like Coke is so big.
From what I know, Pepsi's actually like mediocre. Like it has a pretty strong presence in like the Middle East.
And it's still behind Coke. It's
I mean, yeah, but
how big they are.
Yeah, it's kind of a joke.
Like for example, in India, Coke is big in India. Yeah. The only thing that rivals it in India is
I hear it's big in Colombia too.
It's another soda that is also like that. It's like an actual Indian soda, except it's not an Indian soda. It's actually a Coke product made by Coke.
I assume it was
labeled so it looks like it's from India, like it's all Indian writing and stuff like that, rather than being a Coke can.
Yeah. Well, I assume that they Coke probably just absorbed that company
No,
to make money.
nope.
Oh,
It's
it was OG
literally,
Coke?
literally just set up by Coke to be another company, because
Yeah.
there's a big push in India for buying local products, and stuff like that, because they don't like a lot of foreign influence.
Of course not.
Might have
I mean,
something to do
would?
with the British, basically enslaving their country
Would
for a long while. So there's a huge push to be local and stuff like that. So Coke's like, well, let's take advantage of that and pushed out a product that looks like it's local, but it's not. It's dumb.
I mean, it's what happens.
Yeah.
It's business.
Yeah.
And business is a booming.
It is.
All right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. Anything else happening soon that's exciting?
I'm
The
trying to
Destiny,
think of anything cool.
the Destiny
This
2
week in
spooky event
Destiny, we get a new dungeon.
Oh yeah, Tuesday we have a new dungeon coming out.
and the spooky event, which I'm excited
Yes,
about.
and
as well.
the Halloween event is starting as
yeah,
well.
where they basically just add like Halloween themed skins to the game you can earn, so that's cool.
Skins. There's a new gun. There is
Mm-hmm.
at least 3 guns coming in the
Dungeon?
dungeon.
Oh, neat.
Ooh,
that
really?
are-
That's super
that are-
cool.
So yeah, I'll be grinding that for a couple days.
The
Like,
broom is back.
The broom is back. Yeah,
I want the
broom
broom.
is back.
we'll at
really
least
love
have a
the
few
broom.
weeks for this because this is a very inopportune time for this to happen to me because it's if it's
I'm
cool. We got a
surprised they
few weeks.
started it-
We have a few
I'm
weeks.
surprised everybody's starting their Halloween events now.
Yeah,
and
they should
running
have started it
them-
last week at least. I think really.
A lot
like,
of them
yeah,
are running a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, also, Borderlands is doing the Bloody Harvest, which started on Thursday.
Overwatch
And
just
that
started
runs-
like a week and a half ago.
Yeah,
Overwatch
Overwatch
started
is-
less
has-
than a week ago.
Did it
Overwatch
start less than a
started
week ago? I thought
before-
that was
It
more
was
recent.
last.
Okay.
It was last Tuesday. The
Oh,
girlfriend that was
well,
running it.
that's yeah.
So
But-
Overwatch started theirs last week. Borderlands started theirs last week. Destiny
Well,
starts
no,
theirs
yeah.
this week.
yeah.
Yes. Now
And they're all running
Overwatch
for
is
3 weeks.
Overwatch's ends early. Borderlands runs till December, I think it is. Like it's super long.
Mhm.
And then Bungie's runs for 3 weeks, I think it is.
Yep. Borderlands
So
will
I'll
get
have
all the way
time
through
to get
this-
the stuff
to
I want
December.
after the wedding. So
So
I mean, I'll try
if
to get a little bit of grinding
you
in.
don't have a lot of time. Borderlands is the one that you want to skip out on right now because they're going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
It's the longest one. There's no point pushing it.
I'm not saying that don't do it because it actually looks really fun.
Yep.
But like if you only have a limited amount of time, Overwatch is right now. Destiny is starting this week, and then you're going to want to start to hop into Borderlands once Destiny ends, or once you get everything you want from
Yes.
Destiny.
Yeah. I want spooky skins in every video game ever known to
I
mankind.
love the
please.
skeleton armor. It's so
I'd-
memey.
I just
Oh,
love
that
Halloween.
stuff looks so good.
It looks
Yeah.
very good. I'm very excited. But
You know what else I'm excited for?
what?
I'm excited for
Gamer.
Comfy to tell us where he can be found on the internet.
Wow. If you want to find me on the internet, you can find me at mixer.com/Comfamous, Twitter @Comfamous, Instagram @Comfamous, and now on my own private Discord, which you can find in Twitter. It's my pinned tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
Very nice.
And if you want to find me, you'll probably see some pretty cool artwork and stuff. And you might be asking yourself, hey, where can I find the person who made that? And for that, we can ask Copper, where can we find you?
You can find me online at Copper Iron Lion Art and Copper Lion Designs on Twitter
Are you
and
okay?
Instagram, respectively.
Copper Iron Lart.
I'm focusing on a Magic game.
Don't worry. It's good. It's funny.
Is it
also,
magical?
it's weird. This guy is playing some very strange blue deck.
Oh my god, we butchered another outro. It's okay.
Whoa.
It's on
I think at
brand.
this point
Two and a half
it's-
weebs
yeah.
If you don't have 2.5 outros, ayo.
I mean, you're not wrong at all. So we've done it
And-
once or twice where we've done it well.
And
but,
Dale,
you know.
where can they find you?
You can
The
find me.
soon-to-be Mr. Kaylee.
Is that the way it works? Anyway, you can find me on the internet at mixer.com/Mr. Vengeance, Twitter and Instagram at _Mr. Vengeance. I do all kinds of fun video game stuff. And so, yeah, next week will be the first 3 episodes of Parasite. And then hopefully Vinland will pick up. I expect it to pick up, actually. We'll see. We shall see. But anyway, thank you for joining us this afternoon for 2.5 week Weebs. Will be
2.5
live.
weeks. Let's go. Outro butchered. All right, see you, everybody.
All right,
That's it.
bye.
We're
We're done.
Cut.
We're out.
Bye.